Okay, so module 9, there is a one single tutorial problem. Okay, because I just wanted to, teach how to use the set array, because the set array is widely used for processing the Excel spreadsheet data. Okay, so here. Okay, let's assume that you have this Excel file, and then Excel file there's so information about the students and their record during the term. So first name, last name, username, program ID, cohort, homework, and midterm and final. Okay, I'm supposed to teach you how to import this data to the MATLAB file that is called M file. So the information is in the module 10. So I'll show this one. So if you see this file IO lecture, you will see how to import Excel data to the M file. Okay. Anyway, basically this Excel, all the files store in the class data variable. That is a cell variable. So if you click this class data, you will see this data inside of this one variable. Okay, all these values are stored as a cell. Okay, that's why if you see here, these are the 15 by 12 cell array, because there are 14 students, including the header. Okay. So in this case, I need to have this Excel this file to process this data in the MATLAB. So let me download the. Okay, if you see so our folder is a tutorial folder. I'll show this one. Okay. So if you go here, tutorial, these are the, MATLAB file. Okay. So math file that store those value. So we can download this one. Okay. And then you can copy this, then paste it in your folder. Okay. Let's change this name. Okay. The way the load this this data to the workspace, the import to the workspace is here, the file name. Okay, load. Okay, let's save the module 9. What is the name? Course data cell array. Okay, then load TUT09.mat. Okay, and then you can import all the data stored this mat file, but if you want to only load this one. Okay. By the way, so there's no the problem related to this file IO in the quiz. Okay, so this one is just loading the data for processing to show how to process this set array data in this tutorial. Okay, so here, so if you use this load, you can import the class data into the workspace. Okay, so if you run it, there's a class data. So if you click it, there's see this, all the spreadsheet data is stored in this one single variable, class data. Okay. For processing perspective, so we don't need this header. Okay. So we simply delete this header. So like we are referring the first row, first cell row vector. That's why I used this parenthesis. So we can this one. So if you run it, that is a 14 column because there are 14 students. There's no header. Okay. Okay, good. Now we are solving the problem. Okay. First question is num2a include the numbers of the 2a students in the class. Okay. If you see this set array, the information about this 2a students in the 6th column, right? We are going to find out how many 2a, that's the numbers of the 2a students, right? So what syntax do we use? This one. This one is we are finding out the Cholmin, right? And then use the find the built-in function to get this row index to read the ID value. But in this case, once we get this logical vector, and then you just summing up so that we count the numbers of the 2a. Okay, so it's exactly same logic. So here we use this syntax, pair class data 6th column, right? And then what character vector do we search for? That's the 2a. So 2a. Okay. If you run it, this logical vector is stored 1101. This means if you see this if you see this class, okay, let me do this. If you print out this logical vector, so that's a 2a is a 1, 2a is a 1. If you 3b it's a 0, right? So num 2a is the simply summing up logical vector. Okay, does it make sense? B is the average of the final exam for all students in the class. Where is the final exam value? That is final exam in the 12th column, right? So what syntax do we use? This one, because we are dealing with the numeric value. So first step is we are going to extract this numeric value and then store those value to the numeric array so that we are using this equality operator. Is like solving the problem using the vectorization. Okay. So we replace this one here, and then logical. No, that is the finer grade all, right? And class data, where's the column? That is 12th column. But in this case, we are printing out all the value to inside of this square bracket. That's why we must use this curly braces. Okay, like this. Okay, if you run it, see this finer grade all is the 1/14 double. These are the numeric array. So the way we are averaging this final value is simply we use the mean function. Like this. Okay, run it. Can you get this point? So you need to use these curly braces to making the numeric array, or if you're not used to use this kind of the syntax, you are simply use the cell to math class data like this. Okay, cell to math means your cell array data is converted to the matrix. It's a numeric matrix. That's why your input should be the cell array. These are the cell array, right? These are referring the cell array. So like this one, if you copy this here, final grade is a 14 by 1 double matrix. Okay, does it make sense? But one thing I want to mention this is here final grade is 1 by 14, but if you run it, this one, these are the 14 by 1. These are basically, when I explained this syntax, this one is basically you're printing out the each value to this numeric array. So when you use this syntax, MATLAB does know that you're reading the column value. So basic placement of the number is a row direction, is a horizontal direction. That's why you get the row vector. But you want to preserve this original shapes of your cell array data, you can use the cell to math. Okay. So whenever you use this kind of the syntax, please check this dimension. Okay. Okay, so run it. You get this one. Okay. What about the C? C is the average 3B final, include average of the final exam for 3B students in the class. Okay. Okay. The programming step is this one. We first find out all the final grade, but we already get the numeric array of this final grade. Next step is we are going to find out where is the 3B students. Okay, in the sub question A, we already find out how to find out the 2A students, right? We can use this syntax, get the location of the 2A students, but in the sub question C, we are going to find out 3B students. 6, then 3B students like this. Okay, and then how we get the final grade for 3B students? Final grade 3B. That's we can use this logical vector as a logical indexing. Okay, so I final grade all logical vector like this. Okay. Then final grade 3B include the final grade only for 3B students. Then the average 3B final become that's an average, right? Mean final grade 3B. Okay, does it make sense? By the way, this is not ABC. 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. Okay. Next problem is score 80 exam include the numbers of the students who received more than 80 either from the midterm or final exam. Okay, we already got all the final grade in the second question, right? Let's get the midterm grade all. That is a cell to math class the data 11th column, right? Okay. we are going to next step is we are going to find out where is the what students is received more than 80. So final grade all more than 80. But in this case, we are going to find out the students who received 80 either from the midterm or the final. So midterm grade all here, or, right? That's the midterm grade all more than 80. That's the logical vector for, I'll say. Okay, so I recommend that you make this operator precedence. I mean this larger than and larger than this operator is higher than this OR operator, so you don't need to have this parenthesis, but I recommend putting this parenthesis here. Okay, we run it. So logical vector 4 is a 1. So let's see this. The Cholmin is a final is more than 80, right? That's why it's a 1. Noreen is all this 2 exam is less than 80, so that's why it's 0. So Jason's got the 82, 92, that's why 1. Okay. Do you understand how we get this logical vector 4? So the numbers of the students score 80 exam is simply summing up the logical vector 4. Okay? Make sense? Okay. The fifth problem is the weight contribution final grade homework 1, 2, 3, 4 midterm final is this weight. Okay. To solve this problem, we are making the weight factor. Like this. Okay. Here's the thing. So we solved the couples of the problem of the getting the weighted the final mark, right? So in the previous problem, we're dealing with the numeric matrix, right? Arithmetic array, and then we are doing the matrix multiplication of this weight to get the final grade. Do you remember those example? Okay, if you don't remember that example, you must revisit those topic. Okay, matrix operation, that is a matrix multiplication, right? Okay, here, so to get those grade matrix, we need to extract the okay, so let me do this. Where's the final? We need to extract this matrix, right? Not the single vector. To get this all the value, all this matrix value, you're going to, so let's say, so all mark or score. Okay, score all is the cell to math. In this case, class data. We are referring to all the row 7 to 12. Okay, you run it. Score all become like this. Okay, so what about this one? I mean, this one is let's say I'll say this one is also a common way to shape the numeric value as a cell array, numeric cell array to the numeric vector. For this one, this syntax is not working for the numeric matrix, okay. So in general, I recommend use this cell to math, okay, because this cell to math is both the numeric cell array to the numeric vector, numeric array to the numeric cell matrix to the numeric matrix. Okay, then how can you get the final mark? Final mark is the score all multiplies the matrix multiplication and then weight. But the weight is this is the row vector. That's why we are going to transpose like this. Okay. Then final mark is the column vector like this. Okay. Here the question is the best student's name include the first name of the best students. Okay. To get the best students, we need to get the index for the maximum score of this final mark, right? So we are simply index final max final mark, right? Okay. And once we get this index value, we are going to reading the first column value. That first column is a first name, right? Then index row. Okay, so best student name is the class data. We are going to reading the value, right? Index row and then first column. Okay, run it. The best students is the Joseph, this guy. Okay. Okay, the last question is a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky. So we are going to find out the best 2A student's name. Okay. So we already have a final mark, right? But we already have the location of the 2A. But how can we find out the best 2A students? Okay, there are several ways to do that. You can, let's say, you can make the loop structure. So how many students here? So 14, right? And then F, I'll say class info, class data. So 2A information is the 6th column, right? Okay. String compare class data ith row, 6th column is the 2A. Okay. And then we are reading the okay, so what about this one? Best 2A student name is the nothing. You're assigning the nothing, and then best mark so set to 0. Then this is the logic that we learned to find out the maximum value. So first the condition is that we are going to check that this student is a 2A. If yes, we are going to vary his mark, best mark, the student's final mark, so larger than the best mark. So best 2A student name become that is a first name, right? First name is the class the data II, the first column. Okay, and then we are assigning the best mark is the final mark. Do you understand this logic? Okay. So this one is in the built-in function and maximum. Yeah, this one. I just used this logic. Okay. Only difference is we have another condition that we are going to evaluate the 2A students, right? Okay. So if you run it, oh, sorry, this is the string compare. You run it. Okay, best mark is 85.8. Best 2A student name is Michael. Okay. So, okay, do you understand this logic? But this is not a vectorized code. Okay. I'll show you how to vectorize this problem. We need to use some kind of the trick to solve this one. Okay, first we find out where is the 2A students. Okay, the programming logic is to get the best mark for the 2A students, we are making the 0 for non-2A students. How? Final mark. So let's copy this final mark. It allows say copy final mark. Okay, then final mark copy non-2A students is not this one. Okay, let's 6. Set the 0. Okay, if you run it, let's see the final mark copy. Final mark copy is the, okay, see this 2A is there's a number, and then 3B is a get to 0. Okay, then we are using this syntax index max final mark copy and best student best 2A student name become a class data index. Okay, so this is the trick to get this to use this vectorized code. Okay, to run it, the best student name is still the Michael. Okay, if you're not familiar with these types of operation, you can still use this loop structure. I mean, this vectorized code for cell array is kind of not easy, right? We need to go through this conversion is a cell to man, but I'm just introducing how we can make the vectorized code using the set array. But if you're not comfortable, you can use the if structure. But still, you need to develop the logic like this to get the resulting value that you want. Okay, good.